We did a protest up in Cass Lake. This is one of the signs that we had, which coincidentally, I think if you really look in the background, you can see a white truck. That was an Enbridge truck that went driving by just when we actually had that sign up. It was kind of funny. Go ahead. How does this affect First Nations, Native people? First Nations, it causes elevated cancer rates. When you have 5 cases of bile duct, rare bile duct cancers that are confirmed, 2 of them actually died before they were confirmed. Out of 1,200 people, there's serious concerns. When you look at the United States rates of those type of cancers, it's 1 out of 100,000 people. There they have 5 out of 1,200. They have loss of hunting lands and game. Some of the people were showing you before and after pictures before of what the forest looked like and what it looks like now. Obviously it looks like a moonscape. And coincidentally, I just learned this the other day, is there's no more muskrats. Muskrats live in the water, and the waters are polluted. They said that when the last times they were catching them, the muskrats were bleeding. They had like bloody noses and stuff like that. And when they go into their muskrat houses, it would smell of oils. So there's no more, that's one of their main food staples up there. And they no longer have that food staple. Fish and game have elevated chemicals in them. A lot of them, there's reports of, and you can see, I've seen pictures of large cancerous boils on fish. But I didn't want to really get too graphic on this. Go ahead. In the U.S., the Keystone XL does not go through any tribal lands, any trust lands, per se, like through the reservations or anything else like that. It does go around them. They strategically placed it. If you look at the Cheyenne River in South Dakota and the Fort Peck Reservation up in Montana, it goes within probably 3 miles of the reservation boundary, which then crosses underneath the river, which is their southern boundaries of each of the reservations. So, yeah, it affects them. What that does then is it threatens to have their traditional homelands, they're crunched down into reservations or moved. So there are cultural sites along the route that they will be having to look at. That's a system called NEPA. That's a federally funded program, and it could be a great idea. The idea is great, the outcome is great, but there's no rules as to how they get to the outcome. So if Paul were to go through there and just drive through the pipeline route and say, yep, I didn't see a thing, he could sign off on it and NEPA would be approved. Where if Duane went through there and he walked the route and documented everything, and to say what all was there and everything else like that, he would have done the same NEPA process. But there's 2 different ways of doing that. This is what I'm trying to show you, is that NEPA is not a for sure science. Because some places will do that. One of the places that is doing that, prime example in northern Nebraska, Ponca, up by the Sandhills. The Ponca tribe is no longer in Nebraska. They are in Oklahoma. After this meeting, I go to a meeting in New York, or in Columbus, New York, and then I go down to Oklahoma, and I'm going to be meeting with the Sac Fox Tribal Council and also the Ponca Tribal Council. What I'm going to talk to the Ponca Tribal Council is about their traditional homelands, and that asking them to pass a resolution in opposition to the Keystone XL. Go ahead. Kind of got ahead of myself here. What we are seeking tribal resolutions. And basically what we want the resolutions to say is that the tribes along the route are opposing it, to bring it to Secretary Clinton and Secretary Salazar to tell them, we don't want this. This isn't just a non-native thing. This is Native Americans too. What I have on here also is the Nez Perce tribe in Idaho has passed a resolution, and you're going to say, why is the Nez Perce tribe passing a resolution against the tar sands? There is, if you turn to the next slide, there's a thing called the heavy haul. They're bringing equipment in from South Korea up through Portland, through the Snake River, up to Fort Lewis to Idaho. From there, they're going to put them on big, heavy trucks. They're going to be 20 feet wide, 24 feet wide, 30 feet high, and up to 200 feet long. They're going to go up and over mountain passes with these trucks. They're going to weigh, you know, a lot of weight. 580,000 pounds. We're talking like 28 axles on these things. They're going to have vehicles behind them and in front of them to help them get them up the hill, and then to push them up the hill, and then to stop them from going down the hill too fast. Go ahead. This is a picture of a heavy haul. If you look on the right-hand side, that is a logging truck, regular semi. It is dwarfed by the size of those. That is an example. These things will take up both lanes of the highway. They will have to build out bump outs on roads every 2 miles, going up a mountain pass, which is very difficult to do, to make them like 300 feet long, or a football field long, to bump out so that they can pull overs to let people pass. Go ahead. These pictures are from the Idaho and Montana border, up on the very summit. The trucker's sharp curves advise 25 miles an hour for the next 4 miles. That's going down into Montana. And the windy road, the next 99 miles, is what they have to come up to reach that point in Idaho. Go ahead. What can we do? Continue to write. Everyone's done a great job so far, and I think that is why we're at this point even right now. I don't know if anyone's heard. I know the news people have heard. The EPA has come out to say that they are questioning the Keystone XL EIS for carbon emissions, for tribal stuff, and I forget what all else. There's like 4 different areas, but it's wonderful in that, you know, I was out in DC in the beginning of the month, and we met with the EPA, and specifically on this. And I know other organizations, the NWF and Sierra Clubs and NRDC, those guys were all with me in that meeting. And it was very useful. But I think even if you do it locally, your local county commissioners can do things. Like, I forget which one of you two said that. Was it you, Paul? Talk to your county commissioners. You can change things. As far as even what they can do. Does the state of Nebraska, did they pass where they're waiving like the taxes and stuff like that?
Ken's going to talk a little bit more about
Okay.
state strategy, but I don't think that they've passed anything.
Okay. What we basically want to do is hold rallies, protests, make this more and more of a site. Make people stand up and say, "Whoa, we didn't know." You know, the more people that know right now, the better. Right now, it's kind of like the illegitimate child almost. No one wants to talk about it. Make it news. We need to make it news. Stand in unity. You know, this isn't just a Nebraska thing. This isn't just a South Dakota thing, or Nebraska, or Oklahoma, Texas. You know, I think we need to all stand in unity and stand up together. If we stand up together, kind of like what we're doing with the tribes, and saying that, no, we don't want this, I think the better chance we have to say no to this. So, I am going, where am I speaking at next? Friday. I'm speaking in Columbus at the Nebraska Democratic Convention. I will do a more detailed list on this. This is just like the cliff notes.